All right, a federal jury acquitted Russian analyst Igor Danchenko yesterday on 4 counts of lying to the FBI in what was another major blow to special counsel John Durham's probe into the origins of the FBI's investigation of former President Donald Trump's 2016 campaign. But does this mark the end of Durham's 3-year probe? And will justice ever prevail in this case? Here to weigh in is former acting U.S. Attorney General Matt Whitaker. Matt, good to see you. Let me ask you this. Where did this fall short? It seems like it wasn't that high a bar to reach. Yet Durham ended up going 0 for 2 on both cases he brought forward.
Yeah. Sean, it's good to be with you and Lindsay tonight. I think all is not lost. While these cases, should have been resulted in convictions, we obviously didn't get there. The Sussman jury plus the Danchenko jury were drawn from difficult jury pools. Northern Virginia is just as hard as D.C. when it comes to, sort of people that are, not rabid partisan leftists. And I think that's one of the challenges of this case all along. Secondly, I don't think just because we didn't get convictions in these cases that we didn't get a lot of valuable information. Remember, we got, news that they offered $1 million to prove the dossier, that the FBI was paying Danchenko all along, that, sort of some of these underlying facts that weren't crimes were, brought out during the jury trial. But at the same time, I think John Durham, obviously his goal and his charge was to get to the bottom of the origins of the Russian collusion hoax. And I think he did a good job. I think what's the most important thing now is going to be his summary and his report, because I think that at the end of the day, that's going to be the most valuable thing that comes out of this, no matter what happens in these jury trials.
But Matt, can I just real quick? I realized this. That report goes to the Attorney General, and the Attorney General doesn't need to make it public, correct?
That's correct. The DOJ rules do not require that the report be made public, but I don't think there's any world that we live in that, whether it's during the Biden administration or a future administration, that report will eventually be made public. There's no doubt in my mind on that.
Okay.
I want to point something out that friend of the show, Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton, tweeted that this acquittal was no surprise because he points out that it seems like Special Counsel John Durham never really went beyond small fish per se. Why do you think he didn't bring in anybody higher up in the Obama administration or the Department of Justice or the FBI? It seemed like he was going after these kind of third tier type of people.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. They did not really demonstrate to the American people through their trial advocacy that the top echelons of the FBI were involved in causing this whole situation to be put upon the American people. And so while Tom is right, I think those cases of the higher ups are just, the question is it poor judgment? Is it, are they bad people? But are they, do they commit crimes? And I would like to really understand what those crimes are. And obviously there may be a conspiracy. But, if you boil it down, those are tough cases to bring. And obviously Durham's, got his charge is not to win cases, but to do justice. And he also has to bring cases that he thinks he can prove beyond a reasonable doubt. So I think it's a very high bar to get as far as he did. I think he, showed some courage to, be unafraid of going after people that should have been held accountable. And it's just, the American jury system just works this way sometimes. And the DOJ, obviously, I don't think Durham had the support of his higher ups. I don't think Merrick Garland and Chris Wray and others were supporting his efforts. And certainly anybody involved in the Russian collusion investigation weren't going to be helpful to his investigation as well.
So I just think about, this tarnished basically the entire first term of Trump. You had a lot of tax dollars spent. You had a lot of people who spent their personal finances having to defend themselves. It's a massive, massive political scandal. Is this it? Are we done, or is there more? Is there more to come aside from the report? And then within the report, so I guess just answer that. Is this it?
Well, first of all, to your first point, we were there. We know what a massive distraction and how it dominated kind of everything that we tried to do, both at the Department of Justice and at the White House. I think this is it. I don't think there's going to be any more criminal charges. What's happening is you're running against the 5-year statute of limitations. And so I think for a lot of folks that would have had criminal culpability, those cases are not going to be brought.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because this is just out. A former Obama Justice Department official recently came out saying that they should stall this report because Danchenko was acquitted. Then there shouldn't be any findings because they would ultimately be unfair and tarnish the FBI officials. I mean, what do you make of this? I mean, that feels pretty political to say something like that coming from a former Obama administration.
Yeah, no, we need to be unafraid wherever the facts lead. I think the FBI should be criticized for what they did and what the leadership decisions made. And so I totally disagree with sort of this the fear of embarrassment defense is somehow a reason to keep this information away from the American people.
Matt, let me just ask you this in the last 20 seconds. I feel like we know these guys lied to the FBI, right? They basically admitted it, but there's no consequences.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is unfortunately, one of the things that the jury, if you get a jury that's unwilling to convict people for these types of crimes, it does appear that that lying to the FBI isn't enforced. But there's been a lot of people, other places that have lied to the FBI and been punished.
Unfortunate. Matt Whitaker, thank you for making it so simple to understand. I appreciate it.
Good to see you both. Thank you.